Ing tutuking programa, mituringan niyang rated PG. Kailangan ing patnube at gabeding pengari para karing kayanakan amanalbe.
Maya pabengi kabalen. Isadya na rin ko ta nga kaya kayo nga isip, uling oras na. Oras nang ibuklat at suryan ing kaya katamang topic about BMG Outsourcing in Clark Freeport Zone. King lagyo na Michelle Aguilar-ong, ako po Iraco de Rosario, ing kaya kayong kayantabik ing pisasabihan. Ustuling petiks-petiks, uling oras na.
Gusto na yung petiks-petiks uling. Oras na! Inti sabihan tamang nirinde. Naming meging nakabangke kayong ahensya. Kabalik tamo po, suryan tamo, panigaralan na tamo, at piliyahin. Makanano tamo solusyon. Yako po yung Mitch Aguilar-ong, ingke kayong katalamitan, ala ng magchaman-chaman, uling, oras na!
Oras na! Oras na!
Magandang gabi po, and tonight dito sa Oras na, kasama po natin ang mga bisita natin from BMG Outsourcing. And we're going to be talking about this company in Clark Freeport Zone. And tonight I have with me our guests, the owner and directress of BMG Outsourcing, Miss Angela Beale. And of course, the content strategist of BMG Outsourcing, Bianca Nagac. And our virtual assistant from BMG Outsourcing, Mr. Jowell Carreon. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Good evening.
Good evening.
And all right, so for our viewers, since we are talking about BMG Outsourcing, which is a company in Australia, can I ask, of course, the owner, what does BMG Outsourcing do?
Good question, Rocco. We provide opportunities for Filipinos to have a career and grow their career with an Australian company. Our company provides services to Australian clients in accounting, in social media and campaigns, bookkeeping, web design and development, and also loan brokerage.
Is this a BPO industry company?
It is very similar. We don't do call center work, so we are mainly geared towards careers in those areas that I've mentioned. There's a little bit of telemarketing, but mainly providing support to companies in Australia to enable them to grow their office functions remotely. And it all came about really, Rocco, with the advancement of the internet and cloud-based systems, because companies now can have people working, like my two amazing employees here, anywhere in the world. So
basically what you're saying is BMG Outsourcing is basically a company that extends manpower.
Yes.
For Australian companies.
Exactly.
Right? So,
yes.
when we say manpower, what are we talking about? Are we talking about, because actually I read a bit of your history online, and basically what I got out of it was that it outsources accountants and sales and marketing professionals.
Yes.
To do work from Australian companies, which are your clients
yes.
that you have. So
Yes,
is that
yes.
basically the function of the company?
Yes, exactly. It's all office-based. So we've got 5 offices in total. We've got 2 in Sydney, and then we have 2 in Pampanga, and we're opening up 1 in Bohol at the moment. And so we have office-based staff, such as our 2 staff here, that work for our clients in Australia. So our 2 main businesses in Australia, one is an online marketing agency, and the second one is an accounting company. And we both have clients that are looking for staff members in the Philippines to help with their work within their own companies. And we find that for Australian companies, it's about 1/3 of the cost of hiring someone in Australia. So there are cost savings which make it very attractive for companies in Australia to provide great careers for Filipinos.
So are you guys currently hiring staff members?
We're growing all the time. We find that it's become very popular now mainly because the Filipinos are very dedicated to their careers, and they see the potential of growing with an Australian company. And as long as my responsibility is to make sure that we get good quality clients to outsource the work to the staff members in our Pampanga office. So I very carefully qualify the staff members to make sure that A, they're organised and they have their processes in place, and B, that they've got a long-term attitude towards outsourcing to make sure that they are going to make it a success. So at the moment we've had about 92% staff retention rate over the 7 years that we've been in Pampanga, Clark.
7 years, but based from some of my notes here, it actually says that you've been here in the Philippines for 8 years.
That's very true. Well done. Good
So
research.
originally,
Yes.
you guys did not set up office here in Clark. Did you guys set up office elsewhere before you guys?
Look, we had a
came here?
home-based person. That's where it all started in Leyte. And after that, we took her on a tour around the Philippines to say, look, we really should move out of Leyte because of the lack of people at that time that were qualified to grow with the company. So we toured Manila, we toured Bohol, Cebu, and we took the staff member, Elmira, to Clark, and she said, this is where I want to be. There's so many benefits of being in Clark, which I'm sure we'll talk about later in the show.
And before we get to that, can you tell us more about your individual roles in the company? Starting probably with our employees.
Yeah, sure. Bianca, let's go with you first.
So I'm the content strategist in one of our teams called Systemize. So not only I write for our clients, basically I help them plan out their strategies for their online marketing campaigns. It's quite technical to discuss this now, but that's the basic tasks that I do.
Yes, and as a virtual assistant, basically I manage the social media accounts of our clients offshore. Right now I'm handling a client who's doing performances in corporate events. So like what I said, I'm handling their social media accounts by making sure that they are visually appealing to their potential clients, their contents as well, and also I'm doing clerical works such as properly scheduling meetings of my clients and their potential customers, and also just basically doing everything to handle their business so that it can operate smoothly.
Okay, right now we actually have viewers who are potential job seekers looking for jobs in the market, especially within Clark. How does BMG Outsourcing differ from other call center jobs within the Freeport Zone?
I feel we've very steadily grown. So we've been very careful to make sure that we don't leave any employee on a bad assignment. So if a client has wanted someone quickly, we make sure that we qualify the client very carefully to ensure that they've got a long-term career goal with their staff member. So with that in mind, we make sure that there is a commitment, there is an understanding of how outsourcing works. So my role in Australia is to make sure that the client is well prepared before we start on the assignment of looking for a recruit. So in that way, if anybody is interested in applying for a job with us, we want to offer them that guarantee that we will A, give them a career opportunity, that B, we will continue their training, C, we'll offer them a great workplace, and we'll probably cover that shortly about some of the benefits that we offer at BMG Outsourcing, and D, probably about 25% of our staff have actually travelled to Australia, and so there is that opportunity of travel. Yes, so we want to offer higher than award salaries, and we really want to nurture them in their career to extend their opportunities. Just some interesting facts that the viewers might be interested in. There was a Gallup poll done in Australia about employee engagement, and it was found that only 13% of employees are actually engaged in their role. there's a misconception that employees are just after salary, but in fact the truth is that employees want to be highly regarded and noticed by their employee,
Yes,
their
that's
employer. And secondly, they want the opportunity of growing and developing their skills. What the poll found is that the industry, because of the internet and technology, roles are changing very quickly, and so we have to adapt to change.
Yes.
And as an employer, I have to be agile or willing to change what we do. And being a relatively small company of just about 120, we can adapt to new software technology and keep our clients and our employees up to date with change so that they're not left behind in their career.
When you said that you have 120 employees, are we talking about your base here in the Philippines?
Yes.
Or this?
Yes,
Okay.
in the
It doesn't cover
Philippines.
BMG
No,
Australia?
no, not the Australian numbers, yes.
All right, so on a regular day, what do you guys do in BMG? I mean, do you take, like any other call center jobs, do you have to take a lot of calls from different clients, or do you work with one specific client for every VA or employee that you have?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, BMG Outsourcing is not a call center. But we do Skype meetings with our clients. Yes, we handle one client per VAs or virtual assistant. So aside from the daily Skype meetings that we're doing, we're also doing other stuff, like like what I mentioned a while ago, content writing. Of course, we also have QAs, just like in call centers, to make sure that we are doing the right thing. And yeah, I think Bianca can
Okay,
elaborate
so
on that one.
we can actually get back to that
All right.
later on. But for the meantime, we're going to go on a short commercial break. So, Ken kayo mupo, and in a short while, we're going back talking about BMG Outsourcing and their company.
Oras na, oras na.
Mama, ano ginagawa mo?
Ponya? Halika, at may ituturo si nanay. Roll it,
Roll it,
squeeze it,
squeeze it,
dip it,
dip it.
eat it.
Mama, nakalimutan ka.
Ano yun?
Share it! Pani Carlo, i-share mo!
Oras na, oras na.
Dakal pong salamat king alang patlod yung pamagsuporta king kaya katang programa. Again, we are back here at Oras Na, and this is Oras Na Live as well in Facebook. So if you have any other questions that you would like to post in our comment section, we would also address that as well. All right, so we are back with BMG Outsourcing in Clark Freeport Zone. And just to clarify, because some of the viewers here are concerned about a job opportunity in your company, and would like to know whether this is a call center, because I think there's a misconception about BMG Outsourcing being a call center. So how is it different?
Yeah, basically a call center is one that does outbound and inbound calls on telephones. We have a couple of positions with that, but generally we offer careers in professional work. So it's more project-based work where we're doing accounting work or bookkeeping work, or we're putting strategies together for clients.
Okay, and just to clarify, who are your clients? I mean, we do know, and we've clarified from our first gap, that the clients are from Australia.
That's correct.
Yes. Are your clients just average folk, or are we talking about businesses?
Yeah. Look, we range from small businesses, startups in Australia, that are wanting help because they don't have the skills themselves, so they're leveraging or working with Filipinos who have already got those skills, to larger corporations. We've got some of the larger accounting firms, one of the biggest accounting firms in Australia, that outsource with us.
So basically, if I were a small startup business back in Australia, and I would
Yes.
like to expand my business but have
Yes.
no means, or probably I would like to have an office space and fill it with staff that I desperately need to grow my business.
Exactly.
It would be too costly. So the solution would be to outsource workers from the Philippines to
Yes.
to make it cost effective and cost efficient for these Australian businesses. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
All right.
Yes.
For example, what are the staffing requirements posed by Australian companies?
Each one is unique, so it depends what industry that client is in, what skills they already have themselves, what skills they have in-house. What we try and explain to our clients in Australia is, what is their time worth themselves? They should be working in their
Growing the
company,
business.
growing the business, looking at more opportunities. They shouldn't be sitting down there putting Facebook ads together. They shouldn't be doing websites. They should be actually seeking more clients out there face to face.
And this is what
And-
BMG Outsourcing does.
Yeah, so
Also,
the
in addition to that, we as employees, we also train those business owners in Australia. Actually, this coming September or October,
Are you talking about financial consultations?
financial consultations, online marketing,
Online marketing.
our area of specialization.
yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
So going back, we will be flying to Australia come September or October to train some business owners about
Growing their
outsourcing.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a mentor in Australia called Dale Beaumont on Business Blueprint, and he encourages us to make sure that every process is documented. So over 7 years that I've been with Dale Beaumont, we've put together hundreds of templates to help our staff be able to feel confident in the tasks that they're doing for the client in Australia. So if, for example, the client wants Facebook ads or they want to go into Google AdWords, they need their bookkeeping processes done, our VAs can just call on the template that we have in our intranet, and they've got step-by-step instructions of how to do that task.
So
And
handy
that's-
for them.
Yeah, and it gives you confidence too, doesn't it, with the
Yes.
work, that you're not cutting any, you're not cutting any corners in doing the actual task. Do you use that phrase, cutting corners?
No.
Oh, okay. It means
sounds
that.
so Aussie.
Well, it is probably Aussie slang,
So
and there's
basically,
lots of slang that we use.
The BMG Outsourcing is an extension of businesses back in Australia, wherein we hire Filipino workers to
Yes.
do the work for those companies. Is that
Correct.
Right,
Yes.
we actually have a few questions from our audience on Facebook Live. And here we have a question from Paul. He's from Mexico City. And he asked, are all regular benefits of a worker covered in your company?
Yes, because we're in Clark Freeport Zone, and also because we are regulated in Australia, we are certified practicing accountants in Australia, so we are audited in Australia as part of what we do. And also within Berthafil, we are audited as a company. So we offer the highest of standards. We also make sure that we recruit the highest level of employees that we can. So we want to be looked at as providing benefits, not only what we have to, but more benefits than other outsourcing companies in terms of days off, in terms of beach
So
holidays.
you go beyond what the
We go
average
beyond,
employee would
yes,
usually expect.
we do.
Speaking
yes.
of beyond, aside from those benefits, or the company is offering opportunities beyond our workspaces. Right now, I've been involved in some TV shows, and she's really supportive in all of our endeavors.
I think that's one thing of keeping, because as you've said, you have a really high retention rate. So employees usually stay in your company for a really long time.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the reasons why, because you keep the workplace fun for the employees that you have.
Yes.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah. There's a fine balance. We work hard, we play hard, and that's very much the Aussie attitude.
Aussie
Yes.
attitude for work.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The Aussies tend to be fun-going people. and-
Actually, I'm sorry. We can actually get back to that later. But we have another question here from Beth, which is actually interesting because, as you've mentioned just now, that this company is located at Bertheville, right?
Yes.
Because I'm not sure if you guys know, but there was actually an incident that occurred last month in Bertheville, which is a call center company was raided by cops, and Beth from Balibago is asking, how are we assured that all work being done by the company is legal?
Yeah. We were just talking about that earlier, and it is very unfortunate that that happened, and it was an Australian company. What employees need to be very aware of when they are seeking employment is to check on the background of the company, and the work that they are doing is regulated and is verified. In our industry, we are accountants, we are professional marketers, and we are regulated. And you only need to go through the company searches in Australia, ASIC, ASIC, to see the strength of the company. Do background checks on the employees that work already within the company. We tend to find that companies that do get raided are short-lived. So a
Usually
company,
a fly-by-night company.
yeah, fly-by-night. You know that phrase? Yay! That's what we
is
call
that
it too. That's well, we call it too.
All right,
Yeah.
so Harvey from San Fernando is asking, what is the history of the company and why did you decide to open an office here in Pampanga?
Yeah, so the history was clients in Australia that had heard about outsourcing, and they had tried it themselves in various different ways. And some of them had been let down very badly. So they come to us and said, look, you know, we want to have opportunities of saving some dollars. That's why we were looking at using overseas, but we found that it didn't save us any dollars because we had to pick up the errors in the work, and the output wasn't of the standard that we could use in our company. So that's when I thought, well, okay, if our clients are needing that opportunity, why don't we provide them an in-house solution by setting up an outsourcing company that they can use directly? And that's what we've done.
Okay. And aside from that, usually when we talk about the BPO industry, it's usually India that's being hired for most of the manpower that a foreign company would want to invest in terms of cost efficiency and of course reliability. Why choose the Philippines?
Yeah, look, India was the first or one of the pioneers that companies outsourced to. The problems that companies faced with India is cultural differences. There's very much of an alignment between Australian culture and ethics and the Filipinos. Australia is basically a Christian country,
Yes, yes.
the same as the Filipinos. So on a cultural background, we're very aligned. The time difference too is only 2 or 3 hours with most states in Australia. With one state, it's exactly the same
So does
time.
that mean that like usually Australian companies here work within the hours of 7 up until 4 probably?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. Yeah, for most clients, we can be a little bit flexible, but we don't have graveyard shifts at the moment. Maybe
That's
down
actually
the track.
an issue usually with a lot of Filipinos because sometimes it poses a risk for their health.
Yes.
Since graveyard shifts usually, people who work in graveyard shifts usually end up being more affected by illness
Yes.
rather than people who work during the
Yes.
daytime.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's clear that that BMG outsourcing is working within the day. All right. Okay. Another question from our Facebook audience, Lester from Angeles City. Where do you see the company years from now? Are workers and would-be workers assured of their future in the company?
Yeah. Look, you see some outsourcing companies that have grown from 1 to 400 to 800 within the space of a year or 2 years. We've been very careful and very conservative with our growth to make sure that our staff retention rate is right, because we're a family.
Yes.
We honestly,
It is.
we are a family in BMG Outsourcing, and that's the way we want to be seen. To me, my staff are part of my family, and they know that. We
Okay.
make that very clear. So where I see ourselves is growing steadily. We've now got a very good reputation in Australia for providing good services to the clients of a very high level, because we have invested heavily in training, in documenting systems to provide quality assured work is given back to the clients. So in 8 years' time, I'd like to see that we've expanded more on that conservative scale where we are keeping our staff retention rate high.
So basically, we are talking about providing a good tenureship program for the
Yes.
employees as well. Okay, and that's clear. And we're hoping to get back on topic after another short commercial break. And totoo po makagana yung kakataong pisa sa King Bengay ni. But for the meantime, we're gonna go for another short commercial break and get back to our owner and of course employees from BMG Outsourcing.
Oras na, oras na.
This is where exciting opportunities await you, where you can reach greater horizon for your career and work with Australian clients. Recreate a better culture for graphic designers, web developers, accountants, virtual assistants, online marketers. We care about your career because we are more than just a BPO company.
We teach. We train. We touch. We transform. Catering to the educational aspirations of the youth in Region 3. In Subic, Clark, Olongapo City, Zambales, Bataan, Tarlac, and Pampanga. Transformative education for national transformation.
When we first made Carmen's Best, our goal was to make the best ice cream we could possibly make, especially that it's named after my only daughter, Carmen. I make sure that the product reflects the love and care I have for her and my other children. When we say our very best, it means we use only 100% fresh milk. It means we use only the best recipes that we can find. It also means we use the best ingredients that we can find. And lastly, the attention to detail in every step of making the ice cream. We can assure you that the best attention to detail goes into every pint of Carmen's Best ice cream.
Halika, at may ituturo si nanay.
Roll it, squeeze it,
Squeeze it.
dip it,
Dip it.
eat it.
Mama, may nakalimutan ka.
Ano yun?
Share it! Pani Carlo, i-share mo!
Oras na.
Pasibayo at tuna na naman po. At abe tala pa mo rin kakatamang bisita from BMG Outsourcing in Clark Freeport Zone. Alright, so going back from our last topic, you know, I'm really interested about how Australian companies are merging with Filipino companies today, and there's actually this concern of cultural differences, right? So how do you unite the differences between Australians and Filipinos in the workplace to make it a more conducive working environment?
Yeah, look, we have a program of training, both for the client to understand the Filipino culture, the Filipinos to understand the Australian culture. And we've documented all this with a series of fun videos to help to narrow the gap down between the cultures. The biggest opportunity we offer is tours, where the clients can join one of our tours and come and visit their staff member. In fact, we've got one arriving at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
And is this for free?
No, the client. No, the client
would
would pay to come over. They would invest in the VA, and we've had a lot of clients come through. In BMG Outsourcing, we have got a big boardroom that we can use for that client training, and a big pantry, breakout area, and training rooms as well. So we do encourage the clients to come and visit after they've done the training that we offer them. On the point of view of the employees, we do offer opportunities with the client often to visit.
I'm sorry, just had to ask. Usually, how long do your relationships with your clients last? Is there a contract for a minimum number of years that you would have to?
No, we don't have lock-in contracts for our employees or our clients. We feel that if there is a client it's not working out for, it's best that they do go. It's very rare because we do keep our finger on the pulse and nurture the relationship along the way to make sure that it does have a length of service in there. For the employees, we don't have a lock-in contract because we feel that if it's not working out for the employee, it's best that they go, because bad employees can be toxic in the environment.
Personally, Angie, what do you consider the most important responsibility you have as a boss towards your Filipino workers?
Yeah, look, I respect that often our employees have to travel long distances. Some of our employees travel like an hour and a half. We also respect that they're supporting their families. So what I have as a responsibility is to make sure that we provide the best environment we can, the best career opportunities, and the best training we can.
Okay, and since most of your clients are back in Australia, is there training for Filipino employees in terms of the slang and jargon that Australians use? Because I actually have a list here, wherein some of the words here that we usually use, because Filipinos usually follow the American standard of English. And some words they might not be familiar with when it comes to Australian clients. So
you mean like in the Arvo when I need to go get a cuppa with a bicky?
That's no.
Yeah, that sounds alien to me.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Just like in the afternoon.
So in the Arvo,
Afternoon.
I need a cuppa
Cup of tea.
with a bicky.
Biscuit.
So you do actually undergo an Australian slang training, right?
Yes.
So let's see, let's see if we can test your knowledge for some of the words that Australians use, which are different from what we usually use day to day.
My hands are sweating now.
We're under
How about
3, 2, 1.
Let's do this one. Toilet.
Dunny.
Dunny.
Dunny. And then in England it's loo.
A loo.
Right? Yeah,
yes,
a loo.
Yeah.
How about You know, I don't know why this is different, but television. What do you call television?
It's on the box.
Box. And if it's flat screen, it's
It's still a box.
still a box.
The flat, yeah.
All right. How about a sandwich?
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Sambo.
Sambo.
How do you say it?
A sambo.
Sambo.
Or a
Sambo.
sani. Or a
Sambo.
sani.
But if I were to order a sandwich in Australia, they'd still know, right?
Yeah, oh yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And,
definitely.
okay, man and woman.
For woman, it's Sheila.
Sheila. Yes, I know this. And for the man?
For the man, it's
Bruce.
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 Bruce and
Sheila and Bruce.
Bruce and Sheila.
Right. Okay, and how about honestly?
I think it's fair dinkum.
Fair dinkum.
Fair. Is it fair income?
Fair dinkum.
Oh, no. Fair
Dinkum.
Dinkum.
Fair
How do
dinkum.
you use that in a sentence?
If you say to me, really? And I go, yeah, fair dinkum.
Yeah, fair dinkum.
Yeah. So it's like, are you for real? Like, are you sure you mean that?
You barely use that term.
And this is
I know you're all for real, you see.
these are common words in all of Australia. It's not just specific to a certain location.
Very, very country Australia that has grown into the towns as well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. And okay, that was fun. And okay. And going back to our topic, although I do see the challenge that Filipinos would actually have to overcome if they work for your company. So, what like question para sa sa ating mga empleyado, no? Para sa inyo naman.
Sige po.
Kayo kasi nalaman natin na medyo may konting challenges sa ating between our cultures and of course the language itself. How did you guys adapt to the Australian culture? Does it take long before you?
Well, for me, it really does not require a lot of time. Hindi naman ganun kalaking oras yung dapat i-google para maging adaptable in terms of Australian culture, because we make sure that before we start our assignments to our clients, the employees will understand first the culture and the psyche of Australian people. First, yung sa slangs nila. Siyempre, if you're doing Skype meetings with your clients and they're saying or using these slang words, Aussie slang words, you'll be clueless, right? So, dapat maintindihan mo nila yon. And second, we want to let them know that or understand that Australians want to have their time used efficiently, because Australians are always on the go.
Yes.
They're very busy
And
people.
how about you guys? How long have you guys been into? How long have you guys been working in BMG Outsourcing?
Going 2 years this September, so many challenges na, you know, mga, ano bang tawag dito? Mga tukso. That
Lucrative offers.
lucrative offers that I get from other companies. But, you know, growing up here with my BMG Outsourcing family, I come to realize na it's more than the salary that you get. It's about the management, the boss, and the people you get to see every day.
And I can see that even the actual owner is here with you guys.
Yes.
Because usually you just communicate online if they're living far away, but you actually spend time. Usually, as you've said before, like 3 weeks at a time. You're here in the Philippines, back and forth to supervise and of course to check up on the people working for you, right? Right. So, what does an average day for you look like?
Average day. Of course, walang petics because we're all immersed in our job, in our assignments. Well, the usual day runs from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. No OTs, no overtime hours. Well, the normal day is always fun because aside from the work that is assigned to you or the tasks that are assigned to you, you still get to mingle with your workmates, even to your superiors. dito kasi sa BMG Outsourcing, we don't just put our employees in a box because we want them to think outside their boxes
very important.
and to think beyond. And I think that's one of the good things in our company, BMG Outsourcing, because we allow the employees to grow in their own time.
So
And
basically,
there's always work in progress.
the room for growth for employees is also huge in BMG Outsourcing, and of course, I've heard that the pay is really good as well. And but aside from that, what's good to know is that there's this actual relationship between the owners and the employees here in your specific company.
Which is very important.
Yes, and of course, we'll get back later with more questions about BMG Outsourcing, and of course, from our viewers as well. And for the meantime, we're going to go on a short commercial break. So, dyan lang po tayo, magbabalik po tayo after these commercials.
Oras na, oras na.
I am committed to providing the best assistance online.
I am committed to designing ideas into reality.
I am committed to building a stronger online brand image.
I am committed to developing your dream website.
I am committed in ensuring assets are correctly balanced.
We are BMG Outsourcing, following global teams.
What makes Clark your second home?
Clark is my second home. I come here very often. Feeling of safety here in Clark, the feeling of my big family. Having spoken to many of the employees each time I come, I realise that I have a responsibility. In the same way, it makes me feel at home here. Yeah, I love it. I love the Philippines.
Experience life's warm embrace. A wonderful sight to everybody's delight. To welcome everyone. A garden of pleasure, a garden of happiness. Experience the jewel of San Fernando to capture every moment. Welcome to the Orchid Gardens, the best place for best moments. Welcome to the Orchid Gardens, love and joy being shared. Come to the Orchid Gardens, life at its best, a thrill you deserve, right here at the Orchid Gardens. World-class amenities, excellent service is what you see. Free yourself from the hurried city, come and join the fun. Set your spirit free. Welcome to the Orchid Gardens, the best place for best moments. Welcome to the Orchid Gardens, love and joy being shared. Come to the Orchid Gardens, life at its best, a thrill you deserve, right here at the Orchid Gardens.
Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.
Manpower service problems, avoid the hassles of recruitment, training, allocation of benefits, and other labor demands. For your sanitation, maintenance, and janitorial requirements, we've got the solution for you. Forerunner Services Incorporated will provide a competent and professional workforce your company needs, and more. Forerunner, revolution in manpower services.
Maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay nyo dito sa Oras Na. And still, andito pa rin tayo together with our guests from BMG Outsourcing. And we are going to talk about the BPO industry. Right? Kasi ngayon, the BPO industry actually provides around 2 million jobs here in the Philippines. They haven't been here for, I think the BPO call centers have been here for about 10 to 15 years. And of course, the market is still steadily growing, providing hundreds of thousands of jobs to Filipinos. Now, so, ngayon, for you as an employer, aside from being well-versed in English, what else do you require from your employees? What traits are you looking for?
We're looking for people that want to be in a team, because our average client has maybe 3 staff with us. So it's important that people engage together in the team, and we provide opportunities to allow them to grow together, because it's all about teamwork and it's about growing as a united body together. So we have different programs that we induct our staff to enable that teamwork to happen. To make sure that we're on top of any negativity. In every company, in every family, there will be negativity if we don't address it. So it's talking, it's listening, it's understanding, and that's my role, to make sure that I understand each of the staff members, to ensure that we address issues very quickly. If we leave them, they become toxic and the whole culture can go down, and culture's number one.
Okay. And how do you feel about, because usually in BPO industries, we have different people and different professionals working for companies that they weren't actually trained for. And this is what you call the job mismatch. We have nurses, we have tourism graduates, people who graduated from HRM. And did this pose any problems for you as an employer when you first started out your company here in the Philippines?
We hire specifically for a client, so the client will be the one that makes the final decision. So our role as an outsourcing company is to look at all the recruits, to shortlist down, and to do the initial skills test with that prospective employee. Then we involve the client to do the final interview to make sure that the skills are matched. But really, people can be trained very easily, so it's about attitude and about aptitude. And so I remember one of my first employees came with least skill, but obviously had the right attitude, and you could see that she would fit immediately with the culture, and she's become one of the leaders now within, 3 years. So there are opportunities. It's all about the mindset, really. Because these days people can learn very quickly, and what we learn in universities now is not current anyway. So it's someone that's adaptive to change, someone that wants to learn, someone that really takes their career seriously and wants to be with us long term.
Okay. And a question that our viewers might want answered is, do you guys accept undergraduates, or probably especially since the educational system here in the Philippines has changed, and we have our K-12 program now. Are you willing to hire people who finished the K-12 program?
Yeah, look, at the moment we're working with OJTs, and that's a great way of learning about the school and the university systems. It depends on the client. Often they do want people with a little bit of maturity because...
Are we talking about experience?
Yeah, with experience, because they don't have time to train them themselves. But there's exceptions to every rule. And so if it's a larger team where the team member can train that person, yes, we could. But usually, on average, people have got 2 or 3 years experience. And call center experience is very positive in our company as well, because what we found is in call centers, people learn to handle difficult questions, they learn to think on their feet, they learn to use their time management skills. So often our clients have had experience in a call center.
Okay, currently you guys have 4 workplaces or 4 offices here in the Philippines, right?
Yes.
So 2 of them are here in Clark.
We've actually got 3 in Clark. We've got our original
and
smaller
one
office.
One in Bohol.
Yes,
Right,
correct.
so do you still have any plans of expansion?
Yes, we're actually looking for more office space at the moment. We do like to have good sized workstations for each of our staff. We did offer them an open plan like in Google and Facebook, but we found that most of our employees like to have their little home where they like to put all their special little photos and everything up there. So we do like to offer good sized workstations, and we are expanding at the moment because we are getting a very, very good growing reputation in Australia for high caliber staff.
Okay, and there's actually more questions from our audience back in Facebook, and I'm not sure if we can actually ask all of these, but again, from Arvin in Angeles City, why do you think agents are more likely to pursue a career or work with your company, while there are other companies in Clark as well that are just as competitive? So what reason do we have for choosing your company?
Look, I feel one of the benefits is we don't have a lock-in contract, so that if you find that it doesn't work out for you, you are free to go. A lot of the outsourcing companies do require you to stay for a minimum period of time. Yeah. Also, some companies have a very strong non-compete clause, so that if you leave an outsourcing company, you can't go and work for another outsourcing company. We don't have that. Also, we treat our staff with respect, so we don't encourage and we don't have any clients that can look at their screen remotely at any time, because we look at productivity rather than infringing on someone's personal space. So we know if an employee is working hard because they get the job done and they're working efficiently, they ask the right questions. So we like to value the employee's rights, and I take this very seriously.
Right, and of course, for the viewers who are interested in getting hired from your company, how should they get in touch with you? How do they get in touch with you?
That's over to you, Bianca, because you help with all this. Yes.
So yeah, you can check out our website, www.bmgoutsourcing.com.au, and for more questions, you can actually send an email directly to me. It's bianca@systemize.com.au.
Yeah, and all our vacant positions are on our website under our careers page, so you'll see what we are recruiting for at the moment. So check out our website under the careers page.
Okay. And do you guys also post the salaries for the positions to be you guys need filling up?
To
be
confidential.
That's between the applicant and the client.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we once we get all the applicants together, we pay on experience and skill. So even though one client we may have quoted a range, they may see value in an applicant and say, okay, we're prepared to pay higher. So we can give an estimate, but it's a very one-to-one with the client and the employee.
Okay. And a question for you guys: would you consider working for BMG outsourcing for a long for a long period of time?
I do.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just like what I said earlier, there are lucrative offers I've been receiving now, but here I am staying with my BMG Outsourcing family.
So do you see yourself working here in the next 5 years?
Yes.
Not only 5 years, but
Beyond that.
8, 10 years.
Oh.
Because if you're going to ask about longevity, because that is very important for young professionals now. Longevity is not only about the salary, the compensation that you are receiving, more than the benefits. It's the family that you keep.
Okay.
And that's what I see here in BMG
And,
Outsourcing.
Thank you.
Any final words to implore future job seekers to apply for your company?
Yeah, look, I really respect the talent that we have here in the Philippines. I would recommend that people keep up to date with what's going on social media and keep their skills up to date with the latest tools for project management, for accounting if you're an accountant. And don't be disheartened. Don't always be satisfied with where you're at now. There are great opportunities. Don't be unhappy in your job. You know, definitely give BMG a go. If you're looking, you know, if you're not happy and it's going home to your family that you're unhappy, now's a good time to change, because Clark is just going from strength to strength with the global zone, and we feel that we're positioned in the best part of the Philippines with some of the best universities, and we really embrace people who are wanting to have a very strong career with a very respected company.
Okay. Thank you so much, and that was a very informative interview.
Thank you for having us on the screen. Thank you, viewers.
Sa kasalukuyan po, ang employment rate natin dito sa Pilipinas ay nasa 94%. Ibig sabihin, mostly 94%. At 94% employed tayo mga Pilipino. But there is still this growing number na around 2.1 million na unemployed sa ating bansa. So the BPO industry is providing a lot of jobs for Filipino job seekers. And of course, always be vigilant and aware kung ano po yung mga company na nag-hire. And make sure that you do background checks, of course, sa mga companies, whether they are legal or not. And meron po tayong mga sponsors na gusto rin po natin pasalamatan. Of course, Dr. Elizabeth Ocampo Canlas of Angelina's Optical. This is besides Cathedral, downtown, City of San Fernando. Salon de Gladys Sembrano, located at Sindalan, City of San Fernando. Pani Carlo, mabibili sa lahat ng mga groceries at supermarket. Barber Club at Greenfields, Sindalan. Selfie Cake by Miss Mercy Sikat. And Manken's Chili Paste, the hottest chili paste in town. And of course, para sa kay Teresita R. Razon's Halo and Palabok, located at corner Lasatin Boulevard and Jasa Road, City of San Fernando. Alright, so ing aga-naganang bagay malilyari king makapalikid, iti maulaga, uling sangkap naning balancing tami biya-biya. Makatula man o ali, kailangan talang harapan, pisabyan ampong solusyonan. Pasibayo king lagyo na Michelle Aguilar ong, ako po, Iraco de Rosario, ing kaya kayong akatalamitam. Ala na magtsaman-tsaman, uling, oras na!
Manpower service problems? Avoid the hassles of recruitment, training, allocation of benefits, and other labor demands. For your sanitation, maintenance, and janitorial requirements, we've got the solution for you. Forerunner Services Incorporated will provide a competent and professional workforce your company needs, and more. Forerunner, Revolution in Manpower Services.